most of the problems in the world don't actually exist. Like, there's actually not as many problems as we think there is. Like, we think that. I can't even really think of an exact example, but it's like we think that there are more problems than there are. Or we think that we see problems and we think humans need to figure out a solution to those problems, but if you haven't came up with a solution already, then the problem has nothing to do with you. Like, it reminds me of like that everyone is playing their part, and that the problems that we think are here aren't really problems as much as that's what's supposed to be. Cause like Albert Einstein was working on things, right? If the war didn't happen, maybe he wouldn't have worked on those things. If the war didn't happen, maybe LSD would have never been created from Albert Hoffman. If the war didn't, like, the problems, like, that we call problems are actually also part of the solutions themselves. Like, it's a weird philosophical fucking circle here where it's like the problems that we look at when we say that's a problem, or we need to fix that problem on the planet and humanity and our consciousness and whatever, there's a problem, we need to fix it. Not understanding that the existence of that problem, like, brings us something we didn't have, whether it's information, education, being educated on certain things, or the human species evolving a certain way, or going down a certain direction, right? Like, if the war never happened, then reality would have been different. If LSD was never invented, reality would have been different. If, like, there's all these things that happen in our reality. We sometimes look at decisions like you made the right decision or you made the wrong decision, when really there is no right or wrong decision as much as it's a right and left path. Like, there's one path and then there's another path, and if you take this path, it'll take you down that road. If you take this path, it'll take you down that road. Both paths, right? There's going to be quote unquote problems on the path. There's going to be issues or fucking like obstacles that you run into that you have to then overcome. And overcoming those obstacles is the solution. Like, that is the point of the obstacle. When we're sitting here looking at the planet, because the microcosm and the macrocosm are one thing, right? So like when we're looking at the problems of the planet, we're really looking at the problems within ourselves. And it's this thing where it's like, I try not to focus too much on like observing the problems in reality. Yeah, you could say, the economy's crashing, politics this and that, and like they say the world's like more anxious than ever, everything's crashing, everything's going to shit, yada yada yada. But it was always shit. It's not going to shit. We're just becoming conscious of what the fuck it is. So then we become conscious of what it is, so then we can change it. The point of realizing that we're in the shit is to then do something about it. But you're never going to do something about your life until you realize, like, enough is enough, right? You don't have those enough and enough moments until something goes wrong. Until, like, I don't know, like, my life began to change in the direction that I wanted it to go when I got sick and tired of the reality, or I got sick and tired of myself, or, like, I don't know, I just got sick and tired of the shit, so I decided to make a difference. But if my ex-girlfriend never left me, like a year ago, she left me. I was, like, in my mind, I was, like, 2 years ago, in my mind, I was like, I'm gonna marry this girl, yada, yada, yada. But then she left, and I would have thought my whole world was over. But now 1 year later, it's like, no, my world just started. Like Like, I'm just getting started. Like, I'm finally getting my life to where I want it to go. I'm finally starting to acquire certain things. Like, I haven't had a TV in my apartment, or shit, I didn't even have a couch for the past 2 years. I have a couch. I'm getting ready to get a TV. Then I'm getting ready to get a game system just for the fuck of it, right? But what I'm saying is the problems in my life had to happen before something good happened. Like, I had to go through the shit to get to the beautiful field of flowers. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that the problems in the world, the problems in our life, they're not actually problems. They're, I don't know, milestones, or they're tests, they're things that are designed to help you become a better version of you. Like, without obstacles, we would all just be weak, pathetic little souls here on planet Earth. But because of the obstacles that the human species has to go through, we are becoming our greatest version. You'll never become your greatest version hiding in a cave trying to hide away from all the obstacles and hide away from all the problems. And you're never going to become your greatest version either by observing problems but not really doing anything about it, or observing problems that really have nothing to do with you, right? Like observing someone else's problems and getting so emotionally attached to it where it's starting to fuck your mood up. That's not necessarily a good thing unless you're involved in like the solution of the problems. But being involved in the solution of the problems also means eventually facing that problem, overcoming that problem, and becoming a better version of you because you overcame that problem. That's what the human species is supposed to do. And I think we need to, like, maybe not be so attached to, like, I don't know, we're so attached to life, or like the American dollar is going down, cryptocurrency is getting popular, and all these other things. And there's people that are genuinely upset because, they're like, the dollar is real, and they talk about how crypto is not real, and I'm sitting here confused because I'm like, you're too attached to either or. None of it is real, bro. The human existence isn't real. These things were only here to keep going to the next thing. Like, paper money was only going to last for so long, and it was only designed to last long enough for us to get to evolve, to then evolve into something different. Now we use something different. But it wasn't like it jumped from paper to crypto. It jumped from paper to credit cards to then crypto, right? Like, so it was already starting to digitalize. But these are just the transitions of reality. Reality just moves. It's a progress thing, right? We went from single-celled organisms to multi-cell, organisms that now human bodies, and we're conscious, so we can speak, we can, whatever. But like, fucking the single cell organisms probably thought there was a problem going on when one of them started getting multi-celled and started forming into one thing, right? All the single celled organisms were probably like, what the fuck is wrong with those cells over there? They're like forming into one thing. It's like they're turning into a cancer, right? Because cancer is like a cloud of cells that are like unhealthy cells that are multiplying. So I can imagine the single-celled organisms thinking to themselves, thinking to themselves, what the fuck is going on over there with it formed into a body? Like, why are you all connected into one thing? Why don't you just be a single-celled organism, right? It's the same. The progression of reality has always been an uncomfortable thing, but it's just what is. So, like, the problems are designed to make us stronger. And if you avoid the problems, it'll make you weaker. So if there's problems in your life, deal with the shit. Because you know how they say you want to change the world, change yourself? I believe in that fully. That like when people are looking outside and they're saying, look at that. There's so many issues here, or there's at home, there's starvation in Africa, or there's this and that. I'm like, yeah, that's real. But right now that doesn't necessarily have something to do with you unless you got family in Africa, or unless you live in Africa. And I mean, yes, we all need to care about that or whatever, but like, it would be, if you really care about the Africans starving over there, then get rich and then go help them, right? Like, but that would require you to take the responsibility for you and realize that the problems in your life are your fault, and that the problems in the world's, and the problem in the world isn't necessarily your fault, but you can focus your entire energy on the world's problems, thinking that you're making a difference, but really you'll make a bigger difference by taking all that time and focusing on what the problems in your life, focusing on the problems in your mind, and then getting to it, right? And then fixing those problems. Because, like, mental health issues, financial issues, spiritual issues, just people not knowing themselves, people genuinely not being happy. Like, these are all problems, and like personal problems that every individual person has to deal with. And as you deal with your problems, you might figure out that, yeah, it is your responsibility to fix the Amazon rainforest or something. Like, maybe you end up creating a nonprofit organization that then helps the Amazon rainforest or something. But, like, you'll never know until you start looking at your own problems, looking at your own life, and start overcoming all of these obstacles that are in your way. Because, like, some of the obstacles in your way might just be the lack of self control, where it's like, instead of focusing on what you need to do with your life, maybe you just scroll on social media. And, like, that's where social media is a tool that, like, don't let the tool use you. If you're abusing the tool, put it down for a second to then take care of your problems, then get back to it, right? But, like, yeah, I just think that the world is evolving, and as we evolve, we get hit with these obstacles, but they are designed specifically for us so we can get stronger after the obstacle. Every single obstacle in your life was designed to help you be a better you in your death. Like, and I know that sounds funny, but I'm being so serious that every obstacle, everything you've overcame, everything, like, all that shit matters, because after this reality, like, your soul is gonna have the lessons that it's learned from this life, like the things you've overcome, the obstacles, the impact, the people you've helped, the like, all that shit matters. But that's why it's like, yes, there's problems in the world. Yes, there's problems in our life. But it'd be better for us to all individually focus on the problems in our lives, fix those, so then we can come together and work on the problems in the world. Now, there are some people that are already working on, quote unquote, the problems in the world. But like I said, I don't think there's necessarily problems in the world. I think it is exactly how it was supposed to be, always, right? I think Hitler was supposed to happen. I think all of these things are, without all of this shit happening, we wouldn't be where we are. So, like, I know that on a microcosm level, that without all of this shit that I've gone through in my life, being homeless, like losing the girl of my dreams, becoming single, like literally living on my own. I've spent the last year basically on my own, right? I live on my own. I get my daughter on the weekends, but, like, besides that, I spend my time alone working on my problems in my life. That's what I've been doing for the past year. So that's how I know, that's why I'd be sitting here thinking, like, the more time you start to focus on problems that you can't even solve, that you can't even begin to help with, that's the moment that more problems will start to build up in your life. So, like, don't focus too much on the problems outside of you. Focus on the problems inside of you, and then literally it's going to have a reaction in the world. Like, if everybody fixes themselves, the world will fix itself. Like, it's a weird thing that we don't have to try to help. We don't have to try to fix this problem. We don't have to try to remove the plastic from the ocean. There are already humans that are working on this, right? Because that's their journey. They're just playing their part. And we need to figure out our part. And I think that's another problem that we have, is that people are so focused on everything that's outside of them that they don't really know what their part is, right? Like, they're just kind of randomly moving around, not knowing that, like, each cell in the body has a job, right? And each different cell and everything works together in a fucking unison thing where it's like able to be the body, right? I'm able to be a human body even though I'm millions of different cells. They all work together and they all have their part. But it's the lack of us understanding like that these issues were just designed to help us get, to the next level of human, right? Like that's the point. So let's not fight the issues. Let's not try to never have problems, right? People that try to avoid all problems never try to avoid anything. Face everything, run towards that shit head on, deal with the problems, run towards fear head on, deal with the problems, right? It's all scary, it's all whatever, but we still got to run towards it because after we get over that obstacle, we'll be even better, stronger, and feel better than we did before we had the obstacle. So, like, some people think that it will be better if they never encountered the obstacle. So then they walk and they encounter the obstacle. Some people think that it'd be better to just stay over here on this side, continue doing what they've been doing, and, it's fine. Not knowing that the best thing in the fucking world is on the other side of that obstacle. Like, they wouldn't know because they refuse to face that obstacle. They refuse to face their fears. They refuse to face themselves. But as soon as you face those issues within your own life, within your own self, and instead of sitting here in the comfortable, you face those issues and you jump over the obstacle, you'll realize that that's your dream life. That's the dream way you feel. Like, that's the way the way you feel on this side feels so much better than you did on this side. But you got so used to this side that was just normal, that you didn't know that there was better than that. And the better than that is over the obstacles. And that is our reality, right? That's our entire thing. So I think we need to focus on ourselves, heal our mental health, heal our physical health, heal our spiritual health, heal ourselves completely, so then we can generally begin to heal the planet completely.